Well, my friends, we are getting dangerously close to the 2022 midterm elections. Debates are in full swing. We have multiple debates that I will be live streaming this week and next week and the week after. And I want to start today with three important races where we have either a debate to talk about or a public appearance or something. We will first talk about Texas governor, which is incumbent Republican Greg Abbott versus Democratic challenger Beto O'Rourke. We will then talk about Republican Senator from Florida, Marco Rubio, the incumbent, against the challenger Democratic Congresswoman Val Demings, who is won the Democratic primaries and is now facing Marco Rubio. And then we will talk about a very important race, Pennsylvania gubernatorial, where the Democratic candidate Josh Shapiro is facing off against the Republican nominee Doug Mastriano, and Mastriano is one of the most dangerous and extreme candidates, and he is also cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But we will get to that. Let's not get to the Cocoa Puffs right away. Start with Greg Abbott. We did a live stream on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook last week of this debate. The debate is the incumbent Republican governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, against the challenger, Beto O'Rourke. And we actually did learn a lot about Greg Abbott during this debate, including undeniable confirmation that Abbott is a completely disgusting and a completely immoral and dishonest person, which is sort of like the trifecta for Republicans in 2022. Let's start with the first clip. In this clip, you will see Greg Abbott, when presented with the reality about abortion in the world, he says, listen, we're trying to get people baby supplies, so you don't really need access to abortion when you've got baby supplies, do you?
Is Plan B the alternative when it comes to somebody who is pregnant from rape or incest?
Well, it depends on what you mean by alternative. An alternative, obviously, is to do what we can to assist and aid the victim, and that is to help get them medical assistance that they need and the care that they need, but also to know what their options are. They're going to know that the state, through our Alternatives to Abortion program, provides living assistance, baby supplies, all kinds of things that can help them. Also, we've increased funding for prenatal and postpartum care.
Thank you.
Listen, guys, if you are, and I shouldn't say guys, because it's not guys. Listen, if you are in the situation where you are raped by a family member and you become pregnant, sure, you might think that what you want is to decide for yourself with the counsel of medical professionals that you might want to not carry that pregnancy to term. We have this alternative where we'll give you baby supplies after you're forced to birth the baby. This is Republicans in 2022. Now, they deserve to suffer electoral losses as a result of this complete and utter insanity. Whether they will is a different question, and I don't actually know the answer right now. Also, during this very same debate, Greg Abbott got caught lying, just straight up lying. Here is Greg Abbott claiming he didn't coordinate he denies that he didn't coordinate these political stunts where they sent immigrants to different democratically run cities. He just straight up gets caught lying. Check this out.
Governor, I want to talk to you. You talked about migrants and the busing of migrants. Many migrant advocates and Democratic elected officials have expressed concerns about the treatment of migrants being bused from Texas to other states and cities. Here's New York Mayor Eric Adams talking about that just last week.
Yep.
And when we reached out to Governor Abbott and stated, can we coordinate? Can we identify, who's traveling here, that we don't have to guess this? They refuse to do so.
The White House has called this a political stunt. Governor Abbott, is this a political stunt? And has there been coordination with the states and cities these migrants are being taken to? And if not, why not? You have 60 seconds, sir.
So this operation began after meeting with local officials, sheriffs.
Understand how slick that is. He says, we have coordinated. We coordinated with local officials here in Texas. No. But Greg, the issue is, why didn't you coordinate with the people in the cities where you were sending the migrants? He tries to slip in. No, we spoke to all sorts of people here in Texas. Not
mayors, police chiefs, and county judges, where they were overrun with the number of migrants that Border Patrol had dumped into their tiny little communities. They needed relief, and busing was one of the ways of providing them relief, and thus began the process of busing the migrants to cities that self-identified as sanctuary cities. Mayor Adams has never called my office, never talked to anybody in my administration.
And that is a lie. We now have the receipts. Thankfully, Fabian Levy, who is the press secretary to New York City Mayor Eric Adams, published emails with redacted email addresses where you just very clearly, very, very clearly see there are email chains. We have one up on the screen right now. They did attempt to communicate, and it was Greg Abbott that opted not to. Quickly proven to be a complete and total lie. Beto would have, quite frankly, a very strong closing statement and really puts significant pressure on Abbott on the issue of doing nothing about firearms violence in Texas.
O'Rourke, we'll start with you tonight. 30 seconds for your closing statement. Your time starts now.
Thank you. Look, I don't think that Greg Abbott wakes up wanting to see children shot in their schools or for the grid to fail, but it's clear that he's incapable or unwilling to make the changes necessary to prioritize the lives of our fellow Texans. That's why it's on all of us to make sure that we have change at the ballot box this November 8th. I'll keep your lights on. I'll make sure that I keep your kids safe. We'll reduce property taxes, and we'll prioritize the lives of each and every single Texan in this state.
All right. So, by the way, the debate was a total disaster in terms of the format. There were times where the candidates were given 15 seconds to respond to something. It's one of these things where the format becomes an enemy of itself, where in order to stick to this arbitrary format, they completely ruin the possibility of any deep discussion on any issue. So unfortunately, we didn't really learn very much other than confirming some of the horrible things we suspected about Greg Abbott going in. Now, one interesting thing, KXAN out of Austin, Texas, did a focus group before and after the debate, and they had them watch the debate. The debate itself turned a whole bunch of that room in favor of Beto O'Rourke. So check this out. This is the start, and you'll see them put up the numbers.
You guys had a lot to say during the focus group. We were able to track your reactions in real time. But before our debate this evening, we polled you with a couple of questions. And one of the responses that we got, we want to share with you now. We have a graphic to show you. This is how you voted. Okay,
so the way that the focus group voted before the debate was 40% said they plan to support Greg Abbott, 27% said they plan to support Beto, and 33% were undecided. I'm just going to skip through the 2 minutes of stuff that they talk about and just show you these final results after the debate. The Abbott number was at 43%. Beto had exploded to 50% support in the room, leaving only 7% undecided. So that's the good news on this race. The not so good news is that the polling in general isn't very good for Beto. But again, the idea is the debate might change that. On average, it is Abbott +8 looking at official polling in that race. So if you live in Texas, a very important race for you to vote in. The David Pakman Show's longest-running sponsor is Blinkist, the app that takes thousands of nonfiction books, boils each of them down into an explainer you can read or listen to in 15 minutes. Blinkist also condenses episodes of popular podcasts into 15-minute explainers. I've been using Blinkist for years to supplement the books I read. I love reading. I read all the time. But there's even more books I don't have time to read, and you can often find those nonfiction books on Blinkist and consume the entire thing in 15 minutes. My favorite new feature on the app is Blinkist Connect, which lets you share your Blinkist premium account with someone else. You basically get 2 accounts for the price of one, and then you can also share Blinkist books and podcasts between users. I have a joint Blinkist premium account with my girlfriend. Blinkist Connect lets us sync together what books and podcasts we're listening to on Blinkist, sparks many interesting discussions. We just listened to Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power, the new version. Robert Greene, super interesting writer. Find his books fascinating. You can try Blinkist free for 7 days and get 25% off a premium subscription at Blinkist.com/David Pakman. The link is down below.